Today's video is a breathing light, a kit from Banggood, based around 4 LEDs, which will be mounted down this corner here, and it's also based around the LM358 chip, which will go just there. What's going to be a little more interesting for me is that if you look at the board, a couple of the resistors aren't labelled. There's one there and one down there. So what we're going to do, for people like me who are colourblind, we'll need to test these resistors, see what values they are. We can put on board the ones that we know and then see what we've got left over. So we have 3 sets of resistors here, and just to the side I've got a white sheet of paper, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to test these resistors and then I'll put them on the piece of paper, marking down what the values are. So this is the first one. Oops, it's a bent leg. There we go, do that again. So 96.7 ohms, which should be about 100 if I remember rightly on the board. So I'll check that later. So we know that those 2 down there are those. So let's put this one in. .47 ohms, so those 3 are 47. And finally this one up here. Those are 15. Okay, so now that those 3 are 15 ohms, so now we know what the values are, we can start the build. So now I've got the board mounted in the vise. If you remember under testing we had the 296 ohms, well they'll be the 200, that goes there. The 47 goes there and there and there. We also tested a 100, we did that off camera, which goes there. So let's get those in first and start soldering. So first we'll do the 200s, the 2 100s, put that in there. Just as before, we'll just bend the leg slightly just to hold it in place. Okay. Let's just snip the legs off. Right. I can put the 100 in, which goes up there. Okay, so next we can put the 347 ohms in. There we go. Right, let's get those soldered up. Okay, let's get that done. So next we can put the capacitor in, which is here. We have a negative on this side, which is the short lead. The negative goes to the shaded side here. So I'll put that in. Okay, that's that done. Next thing we'll do is put the diode in, which goes there, and you'll see there's an extra line just here, so that'll match up with the line on the diode there. And there's only one transistor that goes on here, and the transistor goes just there, and there's a flat and a round image on the circuit board, and on the transistor itself, the fluff off it, you'll see again there's a rounded side and a flat side, so just match it up. Now I'm going to have to be careful here because those legs are quite close. Okay, there we go, that's that done. Okay, so I think the next thing we'll do is put the IC on, and here it is. So we need to just make sure the legs are straight. So we use that little leg straightener tool I've got here, squeeze it together, and that should line them up nicely. And what we need to do, look at the circuit board, you'll see a little cutout just there, and that matches up with the little cutout on the chip just there. So let's see if we can get this in. Okay, there it goes, that's in. Let's just get a bit of solder on the end. Okay, that should hold it in place. Okay, just check, make sure it's flat, which it is, and then we can solder the legs in place. Okay, so I've got a little solder bridge there, so we just need to get rid of that. There we go, let's get rid of that. Okay, just that end one's not quite right, let's do that again. Cool, let's got that done. So, next thing we can put on is the this little pin connector for the 12 volt, which goes just there. Just the same as before, we're just going to hold it in place and dab it with a soldering iron just to, there's no solder on it. Now, I'm not going to burn my fingers off like I did last time, so I'm going to hold it with this. Right. Great. So we've got a variable resistor, which is here. There's only one way around that will go on. So now we've got the two resistors that we've got left. So one's measured 14 ohms and one measured 15 ohms, so not a huge difference between the two. So I'm going to just do a bit of gambling. One goes up there. And the final one goes in just there. Okay, so that's all the main components done. So we'll just rearrange the circuit board in the vise, and then we can do the LEDs. Right, I've moved the circuit board around now, and what we need to do is put the 4 LEDs on. So the LEDs have a long leg and a short leg. The long leg is positive, which goes to this side of the triangle, and the negative goes to the side with a line on it. So we'll just put that in there. So these all go the same way around. Okay, I'll just hold them in place with my thumb while we just slightly bend the pins around, just to hold them in place. Oh, that wasn't very good, was it? So these keep moving, might need a put a bit of tape on them just to hold them in place. Okay. Right, now that's everything on the circuit board done. So what we need to do now is just do a quick check over just to make sure that everything's in place, and then we can add some power to it and see how it works. Right, we've now got the circuit board out of the vise, and the connection here says 12 volt on it. Now looking at the internet, it does say the kit can take 9 to 12 volts. So I've got a 9 volt battery here, and in the kit they very kindly gave us a cable as well, a connection cable. However, typically they've given us black and white cables instead of red, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the black for positive and the white for the negative, or the ground I should. Okay, so let's put those on there. Here's the battery. I'll just tie those cables up a little bit on the end. Right, let's see, give it some power, see if it works. Oh, yep, that seems to work all right. So we have 4 LEDs which pulse on and off. I guess that's what they call the heartbeat. I guess the little pot down there that you can alter will alter the time on that. So yeah, I think that's a successful project done.